Living the Resurrection Life. How to practice it. 7 steps. Awakening after the resurrection. There are strange mornings when the first light touches the window, spreading across the table, illuminating tiny dust particles dancing in the air. Everything looks the same, the room, the breath, the rhythm of life, and yet, something feels different. A deeper stillness, a gentle clarity softly blooming within the heart. It is as though the world has just emerged from a long night and is slowly awakening. That is the feeling of resurrection morning, when death has lost, when darkness has retreated, when humanity first glimpsed the true meaning of life. But if we pause and look deeper, we will see something profound. Resurrection is not only a story from 2,000 years ago, not merely a day of remembrance, but a living reality unfolding every moment within each of us. For somewhere inside, there are still tombs left unopened, hidden corners of our hearts we fear to touch, wounds we've buried, pains and disappointments we've tried to forget. And sometimes we live within that shadow still, even though the sun has already risen. To live a resurrected life. What does that mean? Perhaps it means daring to step out of the tomb of our own making, daring to believe that there is life beyond loss, that there is light even when we cannot yet see it, that Christ is waiting just outside, calling our name with a tender voice, "My child, come forth." Like Mary Magdalene standing before the empty tomb, her tears not yet dry, her heart still trembling, but the moment she hears him call her name, all darkness disappears. Resurrection is not a distant miracle. It is the nearest invitation. It invites us to awaken, to rise, to begin again. Each of us can live the resurrected life if we allow the light to reach the deepest part of our souls. It may happen in the simplest morning, amid ordinary things. But if in that moment you recognize that Christ is still alive, in your breath, in your smile, in your small yet steadfast faith, then you are already living in the power of the resurrection. So pause for a moment, close your eyes, listen to the rhythm of your own breath. The world may still be noisy and chaotic outside, yet deep within, a soft light is glowing. That is his gentle whisper, "My child, live as I have risen, and rise with me." The meaning of living the resurrected life. To live the resurrected life is not only to believe that Christ has risen, but to believe that he is alive now, within your very life. It is a transformation from the inside out, a renewal of how you see the world, how you feel, how you love. If once you lived in fear, now you learn to live in peace. If once you clung to anger, now you learn to forgive. If once you saw yourself as small and unworthy, now you know that you are a child of the one who has conquered death. To live the resurrected life is to know that each day can be a new beginning. Nothing is too late to be restored, no wound too deep for grace to reach. When you allow the light of resurrection to shine into the hidden corners of your heart, miracles begin to happen. Fear turns into trust, pain becomes wisdom, and darkness becomes the birthplace of grace. Jesus did not rise so that he alone would walk out of the tomb. He rose to lead us out as well, to teach us that life does not end in despair, that love can triumph even over death. Every time you choose love over hate, hope over despair, forgiveness over judgment, you are living the resurrection. The resurrection is not only a spiritual event, it is the awakening of your whole being. It is when you open your heart to receive the fullness of Christ's life, allowing every thought, every word, every action to carry his breath within it. Then, life is no longer a series of passing days. It becomes a journey walked hand in hand with the living one. To live the resurrected life also means daring to believe in goodness, even when the world feels uncertain. It means holding a small candle in your hand, even when the wind blows hard. Because the light of resurrection does not come from us, it comes from him. And when we let that light shine through us, we become bearers of hope for others. And perhaps that is the deepest meaning of living the resurrected life. It is not a theory, but a reality, a daily invitation to rise again in love, in faith, in hope. We don't need to wait for heaven, because heaven begins the moment our hearts live in the presence of the risen Lord. Let this whisper echo within your heart. I have risen, and you shall rise with me. Let it become your heartbeat, your breath, your light for every step. For once you live in His life, no night can last forever. The dawn will come, and life will always prevail. The 7 steps to living the resurrected life. There are paths that only appear once we begin to walk. The journey of living the resurrected life is like that. Not a theory or a religious concept to be pondered, but a way of being lit from within, moment by moment, choice by choice. The resurrection is not merely the event of Jesus 2,000 years ago. It is the sacred flame that invites us to rise again each morning, to stand up from the ashes of despair, and to breathe with the very breath of new life, the Holy Spirit. And to walk this road fully, we must take each step slowly, gently, and deeply, like one learning to walk in the light. Step 1. Awaken from inner death. Each of us carries a tomb within, the place where we bury our pain, our failures, the parts of ourselves we are too afraid to face. We may smile, work, and speak with others, yet inwardly feel withered, like a flower deprived of sunlight. Resurrection begins the moment we dare to look at that death, to recognize the darkness that imprisons our soul, not to condemn, but to bring light. For only when we know where we have died can we begin to live again. When Jesus entered Lazarus's tomb and cried out, "Lazarus, come forth," He was also speaking to us. Come out of your own grave. That is the moment of awakening, when the heart begins to feel the rhythm of life once more. Step 2. Receive the Holy Spirit as new breath. After His resurrection, Jesus appeared to His disciples, breathed on them, and said, "Receive the Holy Spirit." That breath was the first sign of new life. In the same way, we must learn to breathe again, not just with our lungs, but with our soul. When we pause in stillness, close our eyes, breathe deeply, and whisper, "Lord, I am here," the Spirit touches us. Every breath becomes a prayer. Every heartbeat becomes a pulse of faith. To live the resurrected life is to live in the awareness that we are breathing the very breath of God. Step 3. Lay down the burdens of the past. We cannot walk freely while carrying the stones of yesterday. Many long to live in the joy of the resurrection, yet still cling to resentment, guilt, fear, and self-condemnation. Jesus died to set us free, yet we often bind ourselves again with the chains of the past. Imagine each sin, each wound, as a stone sealing the tomb. Resurrection begins when that stone is rolled away. Let the Spirit help you release it, perhaps through a simple prayer. "Lord, I give you what I can no longer carry." When we let go, we do not lose, we make room. And in that sacred emptiness, new life enters. Step 4. Live with resurrection faith. Resurrection faith does not mean believing that everything will be easy. It means trusting that even when we fall, light still remains. It is believing that God can bring life from the very places we thought were dead. When Mary stood weeping by the tomb, she did not recognize the risen Lord until He spoke her name. Likewise, we only recognize Him when we allow Him to call our name in faith. Resurrection faith is not based on what we see, but on the quiet voice within that says, "I am here." It is when we can say, "I do not yet understand, but I still believe. I cannot see the path, but I will walk," that faith becomes the bridge between despair and hope, between darkness and light. Step 5. Walk in love. When the risen Jesus met Peter by the sea, He asked only one thing, "Do you love me?" No reproach, no reminder of failure, only love. That is the essence of the new life, to love, even after being wounded. To love, even when the world grows cold. To love, because love itself is resurrection power. When we love, we live in the light. When we forgive, we help roll away someone else's stone. Love is the only miracle that can turn ashes into blossoms. To live the resurrected life is to choose love in all things, to love those who are hardest to love, and to love ourselves as those redeemed by grace. Step 6. Bear witness to life. Resurrection is not meant to be kept within, but shared, like sunlight streaming through an open window. When we live in peace, when our eyes shine with quiet strength amid suffering, when our words bring comfort to others, we are bearing witness to new life. We do not need eloquence or argument. Authenticity is enough. The life of the resurrection speaks for itself, sometimes through a smile, a gesture of forgiveness, or a simple act of kindness. Others will sense something different, not perfection, but presence. And in those small, silent moments, the Spirit moves, gentle, yet mighty. Step 7. Live each day as a new resurrection. Resurrection is not a past event. It is a continual becoming. Every morning, when the first light slips through your window, you are invited to rise again. With new faith, a renewed heart, and clearer eyes. Perhaps yesterday you were weak. Perhaps you failed. But today is the day of life. God is still calling. Come forth. To live the resurrected life does not mean the absence of pain, but the courage to stand amid pain. It is to see hope amid ruins, to choose love amid doubt, to smile because you know whose hand is holding yours. When we have walked these 7 steps, we realize something profound. Resurrection is not at the destination. It is in the journey itself. Every breath, every prayer, every tear becomes a seed of new life. We are no longer who we once were. The world may look the same, but something has changed within us. A sacred river flows through our being, the river of the Spirit, of the life that never ends. And then we understand that living the resurrected life is not about striving to be better, but allowing the life of the risen one to live within us naturally, purely, and full of grace. In that moment, everything around us begins to change. The sun does not merely rise, it shines into the depths of the soul. The wind does not merely blow, it carries the whisper of God. People meet us, and though they may not understand, they feel peace. For within us, the living one lives. And this is the deepest secret of the resurrection life. It is no longer we who try to live for Christ, but Christ who lives within us. Conclusion. The life within you are moments of stillness, when the noise of the world fades and your heart seems to pause, and you suddenly realize you are alive. Yet it's not merely the life of the body. Deep within, there flows another current, gentle yet powerful, unseen yet real, the life of the risen one, quietly moving through you like an eternal spring. How many times have we searched for that life outside ourselves in success, in praise, in dreams that never quite came true? We've tried to prove we are worthy of love, to lift ourselves by our own strength. But then come those long nights when all grows silent, and we finally see a person may be gifted, may be strong, but can never create life on their own. True life comes only from God, the one who conquered death to give us a new beginning. When Jesus stepped out of the empty tomb, it was not only his victory, it was ours. He did not rise for himself alone, but to plant within the human heart a seed of eternity. And today, that seed lies within you. You may not see it yet, but it is sprouting. You may not feel it yet, but it is growing in every breath you take, in every tear you shed, in every moment you choose to rise again after falling. The life of resurrection does not arrive with thunder or blazing light. It comes quietly, like dawn breaking through the night. One day, you will notice that you are no longer as afraid as before, no longer as dark inside, no longer running from yourself. Something has changed, something deeper, gentler, more enduring. That something is the Spirit of the risen one dwelling in you. He does not demand perfection before he comes near. He only asks that you open your heart. Sometimes all it takes is one whisper, "Lord, I'm tired, but I want to live again." That is enough. Just one honest tear, one breath turned toward him, and he will do the rest. His life will seep into every dry and broken place within you, softening what you thought was dead, until your heart beats again with the rhythm of heaven. When you let him live in you, everything begins to change, not because your circumstances shift, but because the light within you has changed. You start to see miracles in the ordinary, a quiet morning, a warm cup of tea, an embrace from someone you love. You begin to see grace even in hardship, because now you know you are not alone. And as you walk, though the road may still be uneven, you feel an invisible hand holding yours, steady, gentle, sure. Resurrection is not only the day Christ rose, it is the promise that you can rise too. Every time you choose forgiveness over bitterness, you rise. Every time you dare to believe in the midst of fear, to love amid brokenness, to take a step in the midst of doubt, you rise. The risen one is alive in those small acts of courage. Perhaps you think you're not good enough, not strong enough, not faithful enough. But God never asked you to be enough, only to be open. Let that life flow through you, like a stream washing over dry stone, like wind caressing a sunlit field. You do not need to strive to become holy. Let the Spirit do that work within you. Then resurrection life will cease to be a concept. It will become your very breath. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine a gentle light descending from heaven, wrapping around you, not harsh, not blinding, but warm and pure. That light enters your heart, passing through your pain, your wounds, your forgotten memories. It does not condemn or accuse. It simply embraces you and whispers, "You have already risen." Believe this, even if you cannot yet feel it. For faith itself is the doorway to life. When you believe, life begins to flow. And when life flows, all that is old starts to fade. You are no longer defined by your past, by your failures, or by your fears. You are defined by the light of the resurrection that lives within you. And one day, when you look back, you will smile. You will see that every sorrow was not a dead end, but the place where God planted seeds of life. Every loss was not an ending, but the beginning of something new. In the very soil of your pain, the flower of resurrection has bloomed. And you are that flower. Now, step forward with a lighter heart and clear eyes. Let your life become a living testimony to the power of life itself. Let every word you speak, every gesture, every breath be a hymn of praise to the one who conquered death. For he is living in you. He is breathing with you. He is interceding for you each day. And as you live, love, forgive, and hope, resurrection life continues to flow through you. Like a river that never runs dry, like a dawn that never ends, like the love of God that never grows old. Remember this, life is not far away. It is within you, silent, gentle, yet immeasurably strong. And with every breath you take, you bear witness, the risen one lives in you.